Hey, what's up you guys? This is Sentai22 here. What do you think it would have been like if Saban adapted Hurricane Andros is not a great leader?
Super question time! Starts now.
Hey, what's up you guys? This is Sentai22 here. How you guys all doing? And welcome to another episode of Super Question Time where I'll answer your questions. Anything Power Rangers, Super Sentai, or Kamen Rider related, or in most cases anime or different tokusatsus, I will answer them for you. Maybe I'll answer them, maybe not, but I'll try to answer them at my best of my abilities. So let's get started now, shall we? Okay, the first question comes from Tommy Farrells, and he writes, do you think Megaforce should have been set in Angel Grove with Zordon and Alpha instead of these wannabes? No. I'd rather have Megaforce to be its own independent series and not have so many references. I mean, the first episode had so many references to the first episode of the Day of the Dumpster. I mean, it was just way too much. Don't get me wrong, I like the fact that they're paying respects to the original show, but too much of it just leaves the series like they're trying to, not make anything original for themselves. I mean, I want Megaforce to be its own thing, trying to come up with some originality instead of trying to bring something old from the old series. Not only that though, but not referencing so much of Mighty Morphin, if you know what I mean. I understand Mighty Morphin is a very iconic series, but there are a variety of Power Rangers out there that need some really good referencing to the original. I mean, believe it or not, there is a lot of people coming out of the woodwork and watching Power Rangers again. People that haven't been watching Power Rangers since Mighty Morphin or somewhere around space, haven't realized that there's so many other great Power Ranger shows that came after. Okay, the next question comes from Justice Magnum, and he writes, if Kamen Rider was adapted again into the USA, what series do you think it should be brought over and what should it be like? Question 2, what do you think Saban is going to do when they adapt Go Buster in terms of the story and tone? First question, I would have to say either Kabuto or Decade. Although, in my opinion, I think Saban is going to pick Decade because of the toy opportunities. Obviously, Decade will probably be a good choice because it really brings, kind of new stories with different writers, and this is how I think it should be done. A young man who is a scientist as well as a comic book geek, and no, this will not be based on the Beetleborgs. As a matter of fact, it is inspired by the Justice League episode where John Stewart, who is the Green Lantern, he used to love the Justice Guild, which is a comic book series. All of a sudden, the Flash goes really fast, and Hawkgirl and the Green Lantern and Martian Manhunter, I forgot him, go to a dimension where, in that dimension, where the Justice Guild lives. Now, the Justice Guild is real in that world, but in the Justice League world, it is based on a comic book. And that's what I want the adaptation of Kamen Rider Decade to be. So this young man, who is also a very well-known scientist, he has all the comics, different versions of the Kamen Rider series from Kuga all the way to Kiba. Although I don't know what they'll be called in the US, but it'll be, those names like the Masked Rider Warriors. But he has all of the comic books, and he has a very special comic book which came out recently, but he hadn't read it yet. With this kind of round belt, the Decade belt, obviously in the comic book cover. His friend invents this wormhole device, which for some reason was malfunctioning, and all of a sudden he gets sucked in, and the comic book with it. And so he enters into a world where all of the riders, and the footage that they'll be using in that part will be the Natsumi Dream in Kamen Rider Decade Episode 1. He sees all the riders fighting this sort of pink individual, but we don't see him. It's some kind of... he can't see it because there's a big flash. You cannot see anything. All of a sudden, there's this dimensional wall, kind of like you see in Kamen Rider Decade. The dimension shifts and he gets suddenly teleported into the city, or most of the city is destroyed by all of the different variations of the Kamen Rider kanji monsters, and of course that'll be the footage we'll be using in the episode 1. And of course he gets a message. All of a sudden he sees this guy who is a lookalike Edward Collins from Twilight. Yes, I am going to put him as the Kamen Rider Kiba of that world, or Kamen Rider Vampire, so deal with it, guys. I mean, hey, look, if we can bring female viewers into it to have like a lookalike Edward Collins in this, it'll be perfect. He's kind of the way is kind of similar to how Wataru meets Tsukasa in the first episode. Tell him how to use the belt and whatnot. And again, the earth shifts, and all of a sudden he finds this belt, and of course he transforms into Kamen Rider Decade, or whatever it's called in the American version, Kamen Rider Power Rider, of course. And he all of a sudden tries to use these cards, but he's trying to think of himself, how the hell do I know how to use these cards? And so his plot basically is to try to find a way home, but at the same time try to save this world by going to other dimensions, basically going to the comic book dimensions of each Kamen Rider series. And so basically that's just how it works. Not only that, but it'll help him because he has knowledge of all the worlds, while unlocking these new abilities so he can save that world, so he can go back to the other world. So in a way it's kind of like the Wizard of Oz, but much cooler. Yes, I know I have an active imagination, and what do you guys think of my little concept? Please let me know. So yeah, and the second question, I think the adaptation for Go Buster will be kind of similar to Lightspeed Rescue. Yeah, I think that will work as an adaptation. So okay, the next question comes from Daryl Warren, and he writes, do you think that the Morphers from Bandai of America went to crap after Power Rangers was bought by Disney? Nope. As a matter of fact, it went way before Disney. Lost Galaxy, if you will, was the really last good Morpher ever to be done by Bandai of America. While the Japanese version had improved somewhat, Bandai of America has scaled down the Morphers to cut costs so that the parents could buy it. But when the anniversary came along, I mean, it was a big improvement when they released the Gosei Morpher. I mean, such playability, so much playability, so much fun in that, and I hope they can continue doing that in the years to come. So alright, last question comes from Darkcrawl642, and he writes, 1. Do you like Transformers? 2. Do you watch anime like Dragon Ball or Soul Eater or Yu-Gi-Oh? I love Transformers, but I grew up more towards the Beast Wars Transformers. My favorite Beast Wars Transformers would have to be, of course, Optimus Primal, T-Rex, the Beast Wars Megatron, Dinobot, Rat Trap, Rhinox, obviously all of the Maximals, and as well the Predacons. Yeah, I like Waspinator. No, Waspinator like going to Ranger Board and write about Waspinator. Also, if you've searched through my channel, I do rarely do Transformer toy reviews. The reason why I don't do that much is because YouTube is just flooded with so many Transformer reviews. So I mean, I know there's a lot of Power Ranger stuff, but that's kind of the stuff that I'm into. I'm not I'm not into more than Transformers. I'm more into Power Rangers and Sentai and Tokusatsu. But I like Transformers regardless. I like all of these different franchises. So, do you like Dragon Ball Z? Yes, as a matter of fact, I have some toy reviews of Dragon Ball Z items in my channel. If you go ahead, just go to my channel and search it. Soul Eater, I'll have to check on that. And I've seen Yu-Gi-Oh before. Pretty good show. So, yeah, well, that's about it, you guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this very special Super Question Time video. Please post more of your questions, and I will post them in my next Super Question Time video. I will also do a Super Question Time Ranger Board edition, where people at Ranger Board can answer questions as well. So, and as well, I will be doing a review of the Gokaiger Mobirates. Yes, I know that toy is old, but I'm going to review it anyway. I should be getting that toy around next Monday, hopefully. So maybe Saturday, who knows. Once I get the toy, I will definitely review it right away. So, alright guys, that's about it. This is Sentai 22, and thanks for watching.